like to have more money? And raise your hand if you would like to have the secret to having more money. My name is Joel Solomon, and I'm a prosperity coach. And I teach people how to become financially free so they don't have to work if they don't want to. And my mission is to help at least 100,000 people become financially free. People ask me, Joel, so you're a financial advisor? Financial planner? No, I'm a prosperity coach. All I do is teach. I teach people how to change their mindset around money. I teach people about investments, what's a stock, what's a bond, how to invest in the stock market, how to invest in real estate, and I teach people about personal finance, how to save more, what their financial freedom number is, how to become financially free, and so on. So that's what a prosperity coach is. I made up the name myself. So I don't think there are too many other people doing exactly what I'm doing. A lot of it is around mindset and changing people's mindset around money. So let's talk about some of the 9 money rules millionaires use, only the unconventional ones. So write this acronym down, BIG. B stands for beliefs, I stands for intuition, and G stands for that financial advisor named Goldstein. Just kidding. G stands for giving. I actually have 2 G's tonight. I'll give you an extra one. The second G is being grateful. So let's start with beliefs. I tell my clients to write down their level of belief in each investment idea they have. The ones they own and the ones they're thinking about owning, from 1 to 10. And 10 is a knowing. I know I'm gonna make money in this investment. And 1 is, I could lose all my money in this investment. Now, beliefs are important. How many of you believe that you can be rich and spiritual? A lot of people don't believe that you can be rich and spiritual. A lot of people believe, like I believed growing up, that you have to work really, really hard to be rich and successful. And I will tell you it's a limiting belief, but we could get into that in the Q&A. So what beliefs do you have around money? Pretty sure you were taught growing up, like I was. We can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. That's too expensive. Or maybe you had a dad like mine. Whenever I left the house and left my light on, he screamed at me, "We're not a shareholder of Long Island Lighting Company. Turn that light off." That creates certain beliefs in you. So let me give you an example. 2 guys, they buy Bitcoin. Anybody hear of Bitcoin? So both these guys bought Bitcoin November 27th, 2017 at $8,000. The first guy, he'd done all his research. He read the white papers, he did his research. He's like, wow, it is really cheap. And he buys the Bitcoin. And the second guy, he gets a tip from his buddy of his. He says, dude, you gotta get involved. It's up 8 times this year. Oh, I don't know, it seems speculative, it seems risky. Okay, I'll do it. On a scale of 1 to 10, he's a 1. The other guy's a 10. And so they both buy Bitcoin on November 27th at $8,000. And 3 days later, it's at $10,000. And the first guy says, see, I told you I was gonna make money on Bitcoin. And the second guy says, I hope it doesn't go back down. And a few days later, it's back down at 8,000. And the first guy says, this is the best buying opportunity out there. And he buys another. And the second guy, he sells. He is so grateful he didn't lose money on Bitcoin. 3 weeks later, Bitcoin's at its all-time high, $19,500. The first guy sells then. He's made almost 250% on his money in less than 1 month. So what does B stand for? Anybody? What does B stand for? Beliefs. You guys advertiser, smart audience. And I stands for intuition. And I will tell you as a former hedge fund manager, if I didn't trust my intuition, I either made less money or I lost money. My clients say to me, Joel, so how do I develop my intuition? I say you exercise it every chance you get. You go to the gym, and maybe trying to build up your biceps like I am, so you do curls. So if you're trying to develop your intuition, use it every chance you get. You're in Manhattan, you're on the subway platform. The local train's sitting there, and the express is coming in 2 minutes. What do? Express, local, express, what do? Trust your gut, you trust your intuition. Let me tell you another story. Every Thursday morning, I have my daughters, and I take them to school. And we have options. We could take the local roads, we could take the highway, or we could hitchhike. Now, generally, my intuition is telling me to take the highway. And so we do. But this one particular morning, the highway is all backed up with traffic. But my intuition is still telling me to take the highway. But I listen to my intellect, and I take the local roads. And immediately my stomach's in knots. I hear the sirens. I see the lights. And because I didn't trust my intuition, it cost me a $150 speeding ticket. And to this day, my daughters tease me and they call me Speedy Pants. So let me give you an investment example related to intuition. It's 2008, early 2008, and we had done our research, and we knew that AIG, the insurance company, was overvalued. We had no idea how overvalued, but we knew it was overvalued. So we bet it was going to go down. We shorted it. And a couple months later, my analyst comes to me and says, Joel, it's going back up. They're raising capital. It's going back up. Now, my intellect agreed with him. But my intuition said, don't touch it. But I listened to my intellect, I listened to my analyst, and we get out. And 2 days later, it's down 10%, which if you annualize that, it's 25 times your money. Now, my intuition, even though it had gone down 10%, is still screaming at me, it's going lower. So we got back in. And less than 4 months later, we had made 60% on our money because I trusted my intuition. So I stands for intuition. And G, the third rule tonight, stands for giving. Not good looking. Giving. Giving can change the world. Giving is karma. Sir John Templeton, anybody hear of him? Sir John Templeton, some people say, was the best investor of all time. He started the Templeton Funds in the 1950s with just a few $1,000s. And he sold his company to the Franklin Mutual Funds in the 1990s for almost $1 billion. Now, he said he hadn't met anybody who hadn't given at least 10% of his earnings each year to charities, who didn't have massively more wealth at the end of the 10 years than at the beginning. I know what you're thinking. Joel, if I give my money away, I have less money, not more. How does that work? Well, let me explain. Money is just energy. And by putting it out into the world, it must flow back to you. By creating that thought that I have plenty to spare and share, you are, and you do, have plenty to spare and share. You're creating more abundance and prosperity in your life. So what can you do? What can you give? It doesn't have to be just about money, by the way. You may have a special talent. You could share that with the world. You may have a special gift. You could give a smile to a stranger. You could give a compliment to a stranger. You could even give an extra donation to your favorite charity. Giving does indeed change the world. And that's why giving is my rule number 6 in the 9 money rules millionaires use. But let me give you my extra G tonight. Grateful, gratitude. This is how the 9 money rules, the 9 money rules millionaires use starts out. It's 105 degrees. Are you kidding me? It hasn't gone down since you left. Is there anything else we should do? We gave her the children's Tylenol. We gave her the cold compresses. No, it's okay. We're gonna come right home. So this is the conversation I had with my mom. My youngest daughter, Morgan, at the time, was not yet 9 months old. I was on the Upper East Side with my wife at the time, and we were actually celebrating her birthday and her twin's birthday. So we rushed home. Filled with fear and worry and anxiety, and I tell my clients now that those emotions don't serve you. Worry is just negative future planning. You're thinking about what you don't want to happen, so think about what you do want to happen. But that night, I had no idea. I wasn't as enlightened as I am now, and I was filled with anxiety. And we're rushing home. I remember getting home in like 30, 40 minutes, sped up the hutch. And we got home, and we gave Morgan more cold compresses. We gave her more baby Tylenol. I even remember giving her a cold bath. And that temperature went down from 105, thankfully. We also called the pediatrician, who said if it doesn't go down much more, you should go to the hospital the next morning, which was Sunday. So it did go down, but that evening we decided Sunday night we're taking her into the pediatrician anyway. We take her in, and the pediatrician took one look at Morgan and said, get to the hospital. So we get to the hospital, meet the surgeon, who says she needs surgery. And we said, is there anything we could do? Doctor says no. So nothing really could prepare us for Morgan, who's not yet 9 months old, getting hooked up to all those wires in the IV tube. But then it got worse, as they told us they were going to give her the gas to put her out, but she was struggling so much we had to hold her down. So we hold her down as they put the mask over her nose and mouth, and she's struggling. Tears are just, couldn't stop crying. And finally she's out. And again, we left the room completely out of control. You know, imagine you're less than 9 months old and we can't do anything, just have to observe. They kick us out of the room, which was even more disturbing. And I don't remember how long it took, but you know, it was a couple of hours later, and they said Morgan was fine. She came out of the operation, no problem, and she'll be out shortly. She came out still with all those tubes in the IV and looking so pale. It was so distressing. But a few hours later, the color returned to her face, and she was smiling and happy again. Why do I tell this story? I tell this story because I am so grateful for having caring, thoughtful, beautiful, 13-year-old, healthy daughter, Morgan. So what can you be grateful for? And who could you be grateful for? I recommend to my clients to write down every morning 5 things they're grateful for, and at night, 5 things you're grateful for. Because when you're feeling grateful for what you have, there's more and more things that come into your life that you can be grateful about. And it doesn't have to be amazing, beautiful, miracle of life things like your daughter or son, but it can be simple things like, you know, the sunrise, or I can go for a jog in Crawford Park this morning because it's sunny and it's not raining or snowing. Simple things can change the way you feel and create more abundance, because that feeling of goodness and gratitude actually is the same level of vibration that creates abundance and prosperity. So think about that and write down 5 things every morning. Now there's a famous author and psychologist who wrote about doing that, and he actually did a study. And his name was Martin Seligman, and he did a study about gratitude, and he found that he actually he checked the synapses in the brain after people wrote down 3 things they were grateful for and why they were grateful for, and they checked the synapses in the brain, you know, 30 minutes later when they were sleeping. and the synapses expanded. In those